Hey everybody, I'm Rocky Votolato. You're watching Zero Platoon. My uncle gave my older brother a guitar. We lived down in Texas at the time. I grew up down there before I moved up to Seattle. My uncle would come over and play like Beatles covers and Dylan covers around the house. So that was like my first time, seeing someone play. I was really young. I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. But then I got older, and when I moved up to Seattle, started going to lots of punk shows, punk and hardcore shows, indie rock shows. Saw bands like Jawbreaker and Fugazi and Built to Spill in very small venues, like, just a couple hundred people or less. And that was really inspiring. And, it just started from there because I was really just kind of, we all are through adolescence, but I was having a lot of problems as a teenager. And I had been diagnosed with just severe depression. And I think I had that pretty much my whole life, like from the time I was very young, probably PTSD, just from experiences growing up. And my dad was an outlaw, he was in a motorcycle gang, and so it was a pretty violent upbringing. Didn't know where to put my focus and energy, and music really helped with that. I think it helps a lot of people in that way, and that's a reason why a lot of us are drawn to it and into those scenes. It's just, even like I was saying before, just to make some sense of life and like be able to channel your energy into something that's positive. For me, that was really important because I was kind of spinning out of control. And music, I feel like, has saved my life more than once. The last couple of years were big transition years, and I was having a really hard time writing. I felt creatively blocked. I was still functioning like on the surface. Everything was still going on, playing shows and even putting out my last record, but I just was feeling like really stuck underneath. And I realized it was because I was being really self-critical, just way too hard on myself about creative decisions and everything I was doing. I wasn't letting it flow. I was like being really analytical and overly controlling of the whole process. I was also dealing with a lot of depression and that. And I stopped everything. I just was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. It doesn't make sense. Went home, tried to get just like a normal life, I thought I'd stay home with my family and not spend so much time on the road. And luckily the dam broke open and I was able to start writing again, and now it feels so fresh because I'm not holding on to those kind of patterns anymore in terms of music. And once again, like, music was there for me as a place to put all this shit I was dealing with and something I could hold on to like kind of climb back into some sense of sanity. Probably right around the time of True Devotion, when I made that record. I feel like I started this process of kind of, exercising demons and figuring out what kind of conditions I was really dealing with in terms of depression and anxiety. It's a result of, I think, experiences you've been through, patterns of energy that are set up within your own brain and the way you think, the way you look at life, and your ego, which I think of ego as like, everything that's basically total bullshit that you buy into, that's not truth, but that runs your life and makes you fear-based and totally freaked out about, what's coming and what's happened to you. And it's a lot deeper and more serious thing, and especially people who are dealing with traumatic events in war zones, or soldiers in particular. Their whole existence can create PTSD, and minds get overwhelmed, and then it takes a long time to sort through all that and calm everything down. And honestly, I think music is a good tool for that, but also, even more so, I think meditation has been the biggest thing that's helped me to sort out my mind.
This is what life feels like on the ground. I had a brother who was stationed up in northern hill country. No, he never really came home.
But I did spend years and years thinking about it and almost romanticizing and thinking, well, that maybe it'd be better to be dead than to be alive. Just because I'd had such a painful existence from the time I was really young. And it used to be something I thought about all the time. Like from the time I was pretty young, in my early teens till, even recently, I was severely depressed. I realized severely depressed most of my life. And so, I found music, I started digging my way out of that, I found ways to cope. And now I'm 100% convinced, that is not a good idea ever for anyone, no matter how bad things are. It doesn't solve the problem. I'm not so egotistical now to say, oh, I've got it all figured out, because I know enough to know I don't know, and I try to stay vigilant about, keeping these kind of demons under control, and it comes down to making good life choices again. These demons are just something I'm probably going to be dealing with throughout this life, but maybe I don't get cured from this, but I have to learn to manage it and keep up with it and stay on guard and make good choices, to be more balanced and just stay out of the curve for the people in my life that I love, for my family, for my fans, everybody who cares about me. So Hospital Handshakes is, that's the title track from my newest album. My wife had written a poem called A Ghost in the Sun that I adapted for the lyrics to that song. And it's about healing from past trauma, which is the themes of a lot of the record, are just kind of digging through things I went through in my early childhood, things in my past that led to, severe depression and anxiety and those kind of experiences that I know a lot of soldiers deal with as well. Life kind of breaks us all down, and then from those experiences we learn and can grow and be, better, stronger people. But yeah, it's kind of getting at that redemptive quality. And for me, the title Hospital Handshakes, it feels like it kind of has a double meaning. Like it's sort of, it was perfect to describe the season of my life that I wrote that song and that the album is kind of about, because it's hospitals they're kind of scary places. I mean, nobody wants to end up there, but they're also places where you can be healed. Handshakes, it's kind of the same. It's like, you could think of it as hands actually shaking when you're going through something really traumatic, or, shaking someone's hand in greeting, or, saying goodbye to somebody you love. And so both those words together, I just really liked, kind of how they had those dual meanings for me, and I think they really describe that feeling really well. We all lose people, we all die eventually, shit gets real. The point is that we all go through something really, really unpleasant in our lives at some point. And so there's sort of a universal quality to music and what I'm trying to do specifically with music, which is just look at that madness and try to make some sense of it.
Heading on your way from this time to love. Is this an exercise or an exorcism? Firework pilots fly towards the explosion. In the sky, the bright colored light suffering the horizon of my mind. I'm a patient with no patience. Hospital handshakes, we must each be broken if we're ever be made good. Current of this currency is painting me golden. Rolling up this way from you where we talk. You're a ghost in the sun, a massacre on the winter, a silent sea, deafening defeat, drowning the minor second, until there's no line between the truth and the lies that we're all hiding behind. If it's a choice, what will we decide? We choose sides between the darkness and the light. We must each be broken if forever be made new again.
was a lot of things in my past that I dug through, even with making Hospital Handshakes, that I thought I had things under control and I just didn't, you know. And so when that stuff starts to surface and you've got these boxes, these old psychological boxes you have to unpack of, you know, memories, that was really difficult to go through all that. I feel like it's so valuable to do it because it leaves you with more of a sense of understanding and you know, and how to deal with this crazy madness experience that we're all dealing with of life, you know, and make it not such a anxiety-ridden, you know, depressed experience. It comes down to like how we think about things, stopping the self-hatred, stopping like, because I just have hated myself so much, and I think that's something a lot of people who are depressed deal with, because they maybe they don't even realize it, but there's like a real strong core of self-hatred that manifests as depression, but it's self-talk, negative, really negative self-talk about, oh, you're not even worth. It's not even worth it to be alive. Like you know, people would be better off if you were dead. Like those kind of thoughts, you know. And I think that script starts running over and over in your mind, and pretty soon, you know, you're imagining ways to kill yourself all the time. And if you do that long enough, you eventually will follow through with it. That's the pattern that happens when people do it, and you know, it's just extremely unhealthy. Basically, just start to see the good in life. You know, I think Ralph Waldo Emerson described mental health as being the ability to see the good in everything. Try to look at life a little bit more from a positive perspective, and do what I can to help people around me, and helping other people. That's one of the best ways to you know, get out of your own selfish depression. Sometimes it's nice to listen to something down so that you can just relate and feel like, oh, I'm not alone. But then you don't want to go too far with you're just wallowing in it, you know. So I like to listen to Me Without You. That's one of my favorite bands, and that's a really, really uplifting like lyrics. I think Aaron Weiss is like one of the best lyricists making music today. I really like the Killers because I feel like that just kind of, at least lately, that like really just gets me excited about life and music, and there's so much good energy in it. And Brandon Flowers' lyrics, again, I mean, lyrics are always the thing for me. But yeah, I mean, I listen to the Beatles all the time. I listen to Nick Drake, and I like Sigur Rós a lot. That's good driving music, and it's also good for just, because there aren't any lyrics, it's kind of like clearing your mind. Like I really love listening to that music for that reason.
I had a brother who was stationed up in northern hill country. No, he never really came home. We drove out east.
You are the reason why I started to make every single minute matter. The X makes me feel sexy and the sex makes me feel empty.